go.
The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
Whoa, now. What's happening, good people? What's going on with you? Hoping everybody is having a good day. Ready to have some conversation and get into it. We're going to get into it. Today we're going to get into it a little bit more than we did yesterday. So, what does that mean, Gerod? It means we're going to get into it a little bit more today than we did yesterday. And it don't necessarily mean that we're going to get into it with me telling you. I got people that's coming on that we're going to interview and find out. One of which, I'll tell you this much, that I'm glad that he accepted my invitation to come on because as we were looking at the campaign trail, he came on to talk about what he would do if he was the mayor. But for a living, he's also a certified public accountant, CPA. Well, guess what we need right now? So coming to join us, he's going to be in studio. I asked him, I said, you can do a telephone call? He said, I'm coming up in there. He didn't say it like that, but he said, no, I'm coming. I said, okie dokie. He'll be here at 5 o'clock. Former candidate for the mayor's position for the city of New Orleans, Frank Janusa, is going to come in at 5 o'clock. I asked him, not only just not let me just interview you, but I would like our conversation to be about what we are doing with this city budget. What do you see? What are we doing about this cash flow issue? Because I think a lot of folks are scared of this cash flow issue because of the fact that we, may not be getting a paycheck. So he said, oh, guess what I got? I said, what's that? He said, I have some ways that we can, fix that. I said, for real though? He said, yep. I said, come on now, for real though? I didn't say for real though. I said, for real though? And he knew exactly what I was talking about. For real though? He said, yeah. So he's going to explain from an accountant's position what we can do as a city. At 4:20, so that's going to happen at 5 o'clock. So now you know. Frank Janusa, former candidate for the city of mayor, the mayor's position for the city of New Orleans, is going to come on at 5 o'clock. So make sure that you are listening to this. I think this will be very interesting. At 4:20 today, we talked to Jabari one time before on the air, and Jabari gave us a whole lot of insight on stuff that was happening, and Jabari Walker is going to join us again at 4:20 today. I think he's going to let the tea go. I think it's going to be a lot of tea. And what that tea going to look like, I don't know. But the other thing, too, that we're going to discuss today, well, we're not going to discuss it. I'm going to discuss it for you. I don't know what it is at night when I'm sitting down thinking about the next day's show. I have ended up, and I don't know if this is just by circumstance or this is just what I got to get these thoughts off of me, or I'm looking at the news and hearing all these different analogies of what's wrong. Did you understand what I just said? I'm seeing all of these analogies of what's wrong. But what I haven't heard not from too many people that are analyzing what's wrong. I have not heard what's the fix, except for things, in my opinion, that are not, let me say it loud and proud so you'll know, they're not acceptable. And the reason why I'm saying that they're not acceptable is because it has ramifications, and those ramifications have everything with, in my opinion, of punishing you. We're going to have to furlough you. We're going to have to let you go. We're going to have to stop services. We're going to have to cut down services. We're going to have to raise these costs. We're going to have to do all this stuff that ends up, in my opinion, punishing you. Which I think is a bad way to say, here's how we fix it. That's not a fix. That's a punishment. Why are you punishing me? You got my money. Punish the ones that didn't do it right. I had, what's the number right now? 330 text messages. It's actually 332. 332 text messages from the time that I got off air yesterday till right now about yesterday's commentary, with more folks that were agreeing with me than those that said, oh no, G, you out your money, you out your mind. So I need to tell you today that I wrote another commentary. And what's the baddest part about it, it made me sit up in the bed last night. I woke up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, damn, does my brain ever rest? Can you just rest for a minute? And since I woke up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I went on ahead and grabbed a pen and paper, and I wrote another commentary. So I'm gonna read that one today too. And you know what made me really write this commentary is because I was listening to Clancy Dubose yesterday. I pay attention to Clancy. Doesn't mean I always agree with his commentary, but I pay attention to him. And what came out of his commentary yesterday, I'm going to try to pull it up, was interesting. Is that a good word to use? It was interesting. Because I really feel that when there is an issue, when there is an issue, we end up having a problem. Our problem is selective believability. Selective. So I actually am going to find Clancy Dubose's commentary. And let you know what it was that made me go, Because what he said, well, he didn't say this what it was. I need to make sure that everybody understands something. He was bringing this up as a possible analogy of what was happening. And when I heard that, I was like, boy, we have selective outrage and selective believability. And I just said, I guess that's who. I guess it's when you got to say who it is you're trying to make up good stuff for. What? Yeah. Yeah. You got to really feel what I'm talking about. Or you got to really believe what I'm saying. I said, because if I'm not mistaken, I could have sworn that Clancy said back in 2024 that he wasn't doing this anymore. He was actually retiring. Wasn't that a big news story? No, Clancy Dubose. So why is that such an issue for him? Why are you the spokesperson, if I could say? Does that make sense? And then I'm gonna start breaking down. I'm hoping that Jabari will do this too, breaking down wasteful spending that we can all talk about. It's gonna be real interesting what I'm talking about. I know a little bit more than what I'm saying, right? But I will talk about that.
Captain Conspiracy.
Yeah, Vincent,
Hey, Mr. G.
what's going on with you?
I'm good, man. Look, as you were speaking, man, I can only think about one analogy. In a boxing match, you have people who can do what you call a counterpunch.
Mm-hmm.
And that means you're striking right back after somebody else strike. You know what I mean? So we need people like to be watching on the wall, to hear the opposition, and to be able to come right back with an opposing view. And they're listening, just like you pay attention, they're paying attention. To let them know that they just can't say and do anything and think they're getting away with it, or have certain beliefs or whatever. So I mean, I appreciate you for working your brain, except the 4 hours on the radio for 24 hours while you're up.
Well, you know what? One of the things that I have noticed is sometimes bringing out certain things that you need to ask questions about makes a lot of people nervous. And then you become the boogeyman. And I got to the point now where I really don't care because I think that a lot of folks just don't know, so they don't ask questions. Or if they do know, they don't have another platform which will entertain them or give them a chance to say or ask that question. But they got the platform here.
That's right.
So we're getting different folks now. I got 322 text messages yesterday from folks that feel the same way that I do, but they just don't want to come on the air because they're scared. And sometimes I call it chicken, but sometimes I just have to look at it and say, I'm not trying to get you to mess up your life because you made a comment. Because retaliatory business comes up all the time. People retaliate when you say something that could that they don't like you what you say. So they get back is to retaliate against you. So we're gonna say whatever we need to say. Ask the questions because this thing got to get fixed, man. We have no idea what we getting ready to run into, and if it's sabotage, because that's what Clancy called it, we gonna see. So, but thank you, Vincent. I appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you, Gene.
I'll talk to you in a minute.
All right.
Did you get that? Did you get it? You got it? Yeah, put it up there. No, not up there. Will it play for you? Because play for me. I want everybody.
Both Mayor-elect Moreno and the incoming council have this huge chasm that they have to cross along with the citizens, because everybody promises improved services and everybody genuinely wants to do that. But there's been a level of mismanagement and a lack of transparency on the part of this administration that it almost looks like the mayor, outgoing mayor, was sabotaging her successor. I'm not saying that that's the truth, but just look at the facts. You know, how could they run up this much deficit and not share that with the council? And people say, well, the council's got oversight. Well, you can't oversee something you can't see. While we may not have Super Bowl services right away, I think over the course of 4 years, there will, first of all, be a lot more transparency from the new administration, and it will be a lot better management of things, and there'll be a higher level of expectations from the top. Helena Moreno is going to expect excellence from her staff, from department heads, and everybody else.
I need to say anything?
Say it.
No. I'm saying, do I need to say anything? Do I need to say anything, or should I just wait for the phone to ring? But the phone gonna ring.
Well, we don't want dead air, so say something.
Oh, I mean, I know it's break time too, so we gotta get Jabari on there. I know the phone's gonna be ringing. So he called this whole debacle sabotage from this administration. And how could they know what was going on if they can't see it? Hello, Mr. Potato Head. Did you know that there was several different crime commission meetings, department head meetings that have been going on for the last at least 3 to 6 months about using the brass system? Anybody remember that? Oh, we got to use brass. Y'all want me to call Susan Hudson and ask her what she think about brass? You want me to call? Because I don't think that the police department is on brass either. I don't know. But I'm making a guess that they are, especially if they are $40 to $60 million over budget. Somebody ain't on brass. But that's what the brass system that J.P. Morrell was pushing everybody to was for. So they can see how much you spend. But it look like they ass need to be on brass. I need to make a little rap song. Your ass is on brass. Or your ass is brass. Which one? Which one we should do?
The one that doesn't get us taken off the air.
Well, we can't do either one then.
Well, you know what we can do.
Huh?
You know what we can do.
What? Go to break? I knew you.
Hey, you know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's inevitable.
All right, y'all. We'll take the break. We'll come back. We'll have some conversation with Jabari in just a minute.
I have to save you from yourself, bro.
Say, what?
Yes, you.
I'm like the other people said. I'm like Dr. McKenna said. I don't need saving. No. More coming up, y'all.
New Orleans, are you ready? A fresh voice in the city is here, bringing you the beats, the culture, and the stories that matter. From local music and food to real talk on what's happening in the streets, we've got you covered. Stay tapped in. Follow us on all platforms at WBOK 1230 for the latest updates and exclusive content. Your city, your culture, your news. Don't just hear about it, be about it. Follow us at WBOK 1230 now.
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fits-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Wake up your taste buds at Inner City Brews and Bistro, home of the one-of-a-kind peach cobbler pancakes. Start your day with our soulful breakfast favorites. Then come back for bold cocktails and those oh-so-good Creole flavors that always hit just right. In the heart of Tremay, every bite feels like home. Doors open at 8:30 a.m. and find us at 1401 St. Bernard Avenue. Inner City Brews and Bistros, uniquely New Orleans, deliciously unforgettable.
The National World War II Museum. Located in the Warehouse District of New Orleans, the National World War II Museum tells the story of America's experience in the war that changed the world, why it was fought, how it was won, and what it means today. Visit them online at www.nationalww2museum.org for time tickets and safety information.
You've got responsibilities, but that doesn't mean your dreams are on hold. At Southern University at New Orleans, our evening and weekend college is designed with your life in mind. Finish your degree, start a new one, on your time, your degree, your schedule. No excuses, just opportunity. Visit suno.edu and make your next move today.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Man, it's Thursday already. This week flew by. This week is flying by. I guess we're going to be in a position where the time going to change in a minute.
7th.
Huh?
It's changing on the 7th of November.
7th of November?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I can tell.
We're finally going to get cold weather next week.
Hmm?
We're finally getting cold weather next week.
Yeah.
But it's a tradition that in New Orleans, when you get around Halloween,
Yeah.
it always gets cold.
And then it's freezing by the time we get to Bayou Classic. So,
Yeah.
Here we go. Galloway!
What's going on, brother Gerod?
You the man.
Nah, I'm talking to the man.
Oh, no.
Hey,
buddy.
man.
Mm-mm.
Man, shout out, man. I know you got guests coming on, but the guest you got on, Brother Jay, oh, he let it out last night. And Stevie Wonder, without Braille, can read that email and see what was going on back in January.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, this whoever called and talk about somebody trying to sabotage, does he realize he is talking about the city council was trying to sabotage the mayor? That's what it sounds like to me. No, I ain't know what it sound like. Reading these emails that young man gonna talk about, that was, you call it malfeasance, I call it straight up criminal.
Mm.
That is sabotage at the finest. Everything, and what's her name? Roman? Give Roman her flowers.
Yep.
Give her flowers. They put it out there. You mean to tell me in 9 months, y'all didn't read this?
All
They
those
told-
emails. Every last
all
one.
these, line by line. If
Yep.
I would have seen this in January, I'd have went up there and said, hey, have y'all read?
Yep.
We're in some trouble.
Yep.
Some big trouble.
Yep.
And I think that's the biggest problem. They want to point the blame at the black woman. I ain't afraid to say it. I ain't sugarcoating. So whoever that was on the air talking about they trying to sabotage, bruh, you didn't read either.
Nope.
I can tell you that.
Nope.
This right here, I listen, I dare one of the news agencies to put this in the mail, not the mail, put it in a paper and tell the city council every single name on there and deny
and
that
they
you didn't see this.
and they CC'd every name that's supposed
Everybody.
to be. Yep, you are correct.
Everybody.
You are correct.
I told him I was going to call and give him a shout out. I didn't know he was going to come on this early. But this right here, this a game changer. I mean, a real game changer. If you have not read that email, you need to read it. And you can find out that this was just not overnight. Somebody said, we're going to just blow a bunch of money.
Nope.
You were forewarned.
Yep.
They warned you back from 2024. They warned you.
At the end of 2024, the budget was out of whack in December of 2024, and they were notified.
And they sat there and didn't do anything. And like I told people, this was personal.
Yep.
They did not want to work with that woman, and anything they could do to make her look bad. Think about it. You spent $800,000 trying to figure out who she was messing with. Now, how much money you going to find out who Helena's sleeping with? Allegedly, I know who it is. Allegedly, it ain't a man. You have a good day, G. Galloway up out of here.
Leave you alone right now. Leave me. All right, Galloway.
That deserves a oh.
Oh, boy. He went there. Yes, indeed. Joining us now. Well, how do you recoup from that one?
You just roll with it.
Just roll with it. No, I can't roll with that. You can't roll with that one. Oh, Lord. Joining us now on the phone.
That's a woosah moment.
He's not a stranger to this airways. Would y'all please welcome Jabari Walker. Jabari, whoo.
Gerard, what's going on?
You the man, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I think that last one almost took me out.
I was like, how do I transition from that one? Man, what in the world is going on with this city?
A lot. A lot was said yesterday at the emergency budget meeting.
Mm-hmm.
There really was no solution, but we did get some more details that we previously did not know. Well, I knew some of it, but previously we did not know, as it relates to Sewage and Water Board, as it relates to who paid the overtime for the NBA Youngboy concerts, which actually had me go and do a deeper dive on who paid and how the Taylor Swift detail was paid out.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I was listening to you earlier, you kind of hit on the nose. If we go through some of the things that we've paid for, we can have a debate on whether or not they were good initiatives, but I think it's more of a, was it the right time to be putting forward these initiatives when this cliffhanger was coming? And it was clear that it was coming.
And so Romy Samuels has been, I think, one of the most upfront at the city council budget meetings, because they're putting out, now you can correct me because you know a little bit more than I do, but they're putting out like who's pointing the finger now. And she's like, no, we're not going to take that. We're going to let everybody know that you too, as the city council, were notified. And today, those emails were copied and put on social media, letting everybody know that here are the memos, here are the emails, and they have everybody that's CC'd on it. So they can't say they didn't have it.
Yep, without a doubt. In January, all members of the New Orleans City Council received an email, and within that email, a letter talking about the dire position we were going towards, and now full blown in.
And I think that is the wording. It says we are in dire straits here. You all need to start paying attention to the amount of money that we are spending because we have a problem. And everybody at the bottom of it, that's one of the things that I wanted to see, who had this information. And at least 2 or 3 of those emails, which I was reviewing, are directly to Joe Giarrusso.
Yeah, as the budget chair,
Yep.
It is formally sent to him, but all the members are on it.
But as the budget chair, it is addressed to him as the budget chair. But isn't it then okay? You need to bring this up at the budget chair meetings, because what are you having these meetings for? If we're not going to, you got a budget meeting. What are we having a budget meeting for? If you're not discussing where we are,
Right. So here's the issue with that. So almost immediately after this letter, they did have a budget meeting. Romy did say where we had an issue. Now, another individual decided to, at that point and at other points, say, no, we're fine. So it becomes a question of, if you have two high-ranking officials who are sending out conflicting messages, why not jump in and say, okay, hey, we need to open up the books. We need to figure this out.
Yep.
Alternatively, the city council decided that the individual that they felt more confident in or felt more comfortable with was more credible. So they took his word over her word.
So again, we're sitting back and saying, you're going to take this person's word over me, and I sit in those meetings. That's my position.
Right. Absolutely. And she's she's in a tough position because based on the org chart, she technically reports up to that individual.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Romy for even stepping up and just putting it out there. Hey, we have an issue, because most people, it's difficult to try and tell your boss, hey, we have an issue, and your boss like, no, we're fine, and then go to the council and say, no, we really have an issue. So for her to even have the courage to do that, I mean, I applaud her, on behalf of the residents for even stepping up to do that. But for the council to act all shocked, like, how did we get here? We didn't know anything. We've never known anything. That's a lie.
Right.
Romy told you.
Right.
You just didn't believe her.
And she got it in writing.
And one of them, actually said that this is the administration was manufacturing a crisis.
Yep. Yep, sure did. So let me get into a couple of things, because I can remember that this became an argument, and it was argumentative, probably with me involved too. When we sat down and started hearing all the money that we're going to use to redevelop Charity Hospital, and the people that's going to redevelop it, educational facility, what is that, Tulane or Loyola? One of the two.
So LSU owns the property, but Tulane is redeveloping the building.
Okay, so they want to put in a request through the city to get $20 million. And I'm sitting back and saying, wait a minute, didn't the mayor say that we just don't have the money when it comes to certain things? What are we voting on? And they voted anyway to give Tulane the $20 million to this $655 million project. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, so we went through the financials, and when we looked at the financials of the college, I'm going, what are we giving them money for? They have $2.3 billion in assets.
Correct.
How the hell you have $2.3 billion in assets, and you're borrowing money from a city that don't have the money?
So it's I hate to say it this way, but it almost feels like one of those backroom deals. So basically, the story behind this money is, since day one, not even this term, since almost day one of last term, the city council wanted control over Wisner, the Edward Wisner Trust Fund.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in litigation, and the council and their outside attorneys went to Tulane and LSU and said, you know what, we feel like we're going to witness. Let's broker a deal. Let's settle and get you guys out, because they were heirs in the trust, in the Wisner Trust. So they said, okay, well, let's take you out of the deal by giving you this $20 million. Now, people ask, well, Jabari, where's the $20 million coming from? It's coming from our capital plan. Our capital plan is everything from potentially building repairs, road repairs, you name it, mostly infrastructure focused.
So a lot of folks don't realize that the city of New Orleans or any other municipality, you hear about one budget, but you don't hear about the capital budget.
Correct. There's two budgets for the city of New Orleans. There's an operating budget and then there's a capital budget.
Right.
So what the council did as a part of their settlement with Tulane and LSU is to give them capital bond money. So that, for instance, with charity and as it relates to Tulane, it was $20 million. For LSU, it was $5 million. Now, what was this money originally planned for by the mayor's administration? For projects associated in District C, primarily road projects, because as we all know, New Orleans got $2 billion from FEMA after Katrina, but because 80% of the city had flooded or came underwater, so that there was road repair. The 20% we all know is Algiers, because the West Bank didn't flood.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the roads over here have, as any Algerine can tell you, have become deplorable. So this was the off-ramp and the opportunity for the residents of Algiers and particularly in District C to get relief on their roads. But the council decided to take that $20 million and give it to Tulane with no guarantees that the city will recoup it in a true economic way. We don't know what's going to happen out of that project.
Because that $20 million to me was a pea in the bucket. Because if you look at the total finance part was what, $655 million? And if they don't have that money to do this project right now, that price is going to go up just like any other construction does within 12 months.
Absolutely.
And I'm saying, why are we giving them $20 million? And I still have not heard the explanation on why we gave them the $20 million. If you do the finances of the educational facility, they've got over $2 billion of monies that they could use, including endowment money.
Yes. I mean, the explanation is basically what I just said. Unfortunately, it's to get them out of the Wisner settlement. Now, it's there's speculation on how much is left in Wisner. I'm of the belief that it's only possibly $4 million. So did we just give up $20 million for $4 million?
I'm confused. I was like, why? And I'm trying to find out the explanation behind it. But I understand what you're saying. But what's the explanation behind it? Somebody got to know something else, because it really just don't make sense.
I think it's something the council has to address. They have to answer, and they have not. They've been silent on it thus far.
I don't think nobody asked them.
JP did a interview with a social media, quote unquote, air quote outlet, but that's about it.
Okay. All right. So that's $20 million. Let's find out something else. Let's go to why the $30 million was even put up for paying back the school board, and evidently they didn't know that the money wasn't there, because the mayor came back and said we can't afford it.
Right. So you know, the council and the school board and the former CAO went and tried to negotiate a deal, but the problem is no one talked to Romy. If they would have talked to Romy would have said, we don't have that kind of money.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, unfortunately, you know, everyone's saying pay the kids. Well, the city can't pay the kids. The city can't pay itself.
So why was Romy not included in these conversations? I mean, from your assessment, if you had to guess, why would you say she was not included in these conversations?
I think you were dealing with an individual who was very comfortable in trying to negotiate and broker deals, and was not fully involved in the details of the financials. It was almost like telling someone, I didn't really hear too many no's from him on any of the financial pieces because there was possibly a perception that we had the funds. But how can you say we have the funds if you ain't looking at the financials?
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't include her because he thought we had it.
Well,
but then to the point of what they said yesterday, it has been a perfect storm. When the legislature has killed different initiatives or killed different fines and fees programs like traffic cameras, that's roughly $13.9 million that's pretty much off the table now
mm-hmm.
that the legislature has changed some of the rules and laws around that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's good things that have kind of taken money off the table, like the Housing Trust Fund. That's a good thing. But that's $15 million that you can't come and save yourself with.
Right.
Because now it is by the charter, by law, supposed to be only for housing.
So didn't I started to call Andronika Morris and ask her because something that passed, legislatively passed, and that was if we get this passed, then she gets or their housing 2% goes to housing. 2% of the budget goes to housing. Isn't that this year?
Yes. Yes.
So if we got 2% of our budgeting going to housing, how much money is that? That's $1 billion. 2% of $1 billion.
No, so it's 2% of the general fund. So our budget is based off of two funds. It's the general fund, which is where your property taxes, your licensing and permitting fees, other taxes, hotel taxes, sales taxes, they're all in the general fund. The other is we significantly utilize grants and what else? Just different like federal grants
right.
and contributions. Mm-hmm. So it's almost split. So like for instance, I can tell you for 2026 that what the mayor proposed. Real quick, I think it is. I'm gonna go back to. I want to say it was like 8. What was passed? Let me go back to 25. So for 25, it was 878 that was approved, and that was on the general fund side. So it'll be 2% of that number. The other 900 million is federal grants that are, they have rules and regulations that the city has to follow to get those.
All right. Well, here's another issue. I'm not sure that anybody is watching this, but I do know that there has been some changing of the naming of some of these dollars that were coming in, and that went to Field of Dreams. And that
mm-hmm.
money was several millions of dollars, and that was to open up that new stadium. And
mm-hmm.
evidently, that money was taken for that stadium.
Right.
And I'm trying to figure out if it was already allocated for something else. Who made the choice to go ahead on and change it to give it to other folks to build a stadium?
I'd have to look into that one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of instances where money is directed towards entities for upwards of millions of dollars that we're just. It's not a determination of, okay, should we do this? Is this a good thing? It's more of the roof is on fire. We need water. We don't need to add fuel to it.
Right. It's on fire. And evidently they just saying, let the mother burn. That's the part that's getting me.
According to Francis DuBois, he thinks it's a conspiracy that the mayor is letting it burn.
Right. Hold on 1 minute. Let me come right back here because the music's playing. I know you got to play a couple of commercials. Hold on. Don't hang up. More coming up. Sorry, on the phone with The New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation is the nonprofit organization that owns the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival presented by Shell. With the funds generated from Jazz Fest, the foundation invests in Louisiana communities through economic development, cultural enrichment, and free educational programs. To learn more about the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, please visit us at www.jazzandheritage.org.
A message from the community scientist. Do you live or work in St. James, St. John, St. Charles, Ascension, Calcasieu, Baton Rouge, or St. Bernard Parish? You may be exposed to harmful chemicals like phthalates, BPA, and flame retardants found in everyday products but linked to serious health risks. That's why the Community Scientist, a program of Rise St. James, brings you clear, science-based facts that protect your health and our environment. Stay informed, stay empowered. Visit risestjames.org today.
The NAACP New Orleans branch invites you to our 2025 Freedom Fund Banquet and Awards Ceremony, a night to uplift and celebrate. Join us Saturday, November 1st from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Xavier University's Center Grand Ballroom. Through your support, dollars fund scholarships, youth programs, and vital community projects. It's keeping the struggle to preserve civil rights current and vigorous. For tickets and information, call 504-460-7765.
When you talk, we listen. WBOK. Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Jabari Walker on the phone with us. Jabari, a lot of this is like pie in the sky to me. Like we're finding out that these things really did not take place, or they were moved around, or we just didn't have the money in the first place. Who watches that though? Isn't that supposed to be the fiduciary responsibility of what we have these meetings for?
Yes. So it is the city council's responsibility. Well, first of all, the city council receives reports, just like the administration, on the numbers on sales taxes. So that's everything from sales taxes, food and beverage, hotel, online sales, you name it, prescription drugs, like all that. They get reports. So we can watch and monitor how much revenue, is being generated in the city.
Mm-hmm.
So then you can go to these departments and ask questions based off of that, as well as, each department pretty much has a committee that it can go to. For instance, sanitation, there's a sanitation and public works has a public works committee. Criminal justice has, police and a like. So all, everyone's budget can be asked at any of these meetings. And then there's also the budget meeting where they can ask what's going on, but ultimately they chose not to. But I do want to bring up a point, because people have been asking me, well, Jabari, what about all the Super Bowl money? What about all the Taylor Swift money? So unfortunately, I don't have the Super Bowl figures, but I do have the Taylor Swift figures. And it quite candidly is going to alarm people. So from Taylor Swift, the city of New Orleans, the actual city portion of it, they only received $4.2 million. Minus the $515,000 spent on police details, that's $3.7 million for the city's portion.
What?
In total, for retail sales, so that's ticket sales, merchandise, food and beverage, $118 million was generated in the city of New Orleans. For hotel and short-term rental sales, $88 million. So that's well over
$200 million.
$200 million generated just from the Taylor Swift event. But the city of New Orleans only received, after the NOPD detail, $3.7 million. Now, obviously, they was like, well, how is that possible? Because the way the setup between the state and the city. So people think when all these big events come here, the city gets all the money. Not so fast. We don't.
It's
so
the state.
Right. The city collected $5.9 million, but when the school board and other entities get their portion of the taxes, the city gets crumbs.
Wow. I mean, I'm hearing the same thing about other issues where they're sort of talking about big events that come to New Orleans. And I'm hearing that at one point we're thinking we're getting these hundreds of millions of dollars. And I think I heard him say under his voice, the gentleman in the finance office said it was $8 million that the city got. And I'm
I mean,
like,
I
that's
just
it?
gave you a great example. Over $200 million, and we only getting 3.7.
Right. Right. Yeah. So wouldn't it be to our advantage to start looking at, our state representatives and saying we need to go back to the table here and make a new deal?
Gerard, I think it's a big disservice that given that the president and the vice president of the New Orleans City Council are both former legislators,
Right.
and they always talk about going up to Baton Rouge.
They go
and
when they
advocate
want to
for the
go to
city.
get something changed.
They go for their own initiative. For
Yep.
instance, J.P. Morrell went up to change the Downtown Development District Board. Before J.P. changed the Downtown Development District Board, it was majority minority, black men and women. Now there's only 3 black men, no women. The rest of them are majority white men, who are in the industry, the hospitality industry.
Wow.
You can thank J.P. Morrell for that, but the bill was authored by Jimmy Harris. And that's just one instance. They go up for their own things. They don't go up, and they always talk about where's the mayor's IGR department. Well, they know this. Number one, fair share when the mayor went and got us an increase, because if the mayor never did what she did back in 2018 to go get us more money, that 3.7 probably would look more like 2.8. And at the time, JP was a state senator, and he was one of the ones who said, nah, this will never happen. They will never increase that money. He was one of the late bloomers to jump on the bandwagon once she brokered the deal.
I just think that this is so, and I don't want to call it elementary, but it seems to be so elementary that we don't have to point the finger. We know who the person or persons are. And I keep calling this one thing, and I don't know if I'm correct or not, but I'm going to keep calling that, and that is malfeasance. This is malfeasance in office, and I don't know why, but I keep thinking to myself, the people of New Orleans need to be pushing the council to subpoena Montano and have him to come back and tell everybody this is what happened, and here's who was in my ear as this happened.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. The city council does have subpoena power of any person in the city of New Orleans, irrespective of if they work in government or not. They have that per the charter. But another point that's kind of missed in all this, where's the OIG? He likes to investigate stuff all the time.
Yep, because his job is to make sure that there is not governmental waste. That's his whole job. And I'm sitting here saying he mighty quiet. And, if there's something wrong with this FEMA money that they're talking about now, I think that's another $100 million. Isn't that federal money?
Yeah, so JIRR, the way JIRR works is the city or the state, because the state has stepped in through GoStep to front some of the money for us. Basically, on the front end, the city or the state does the work, sends it up to Washington, or really Region 6. Region 6 says, yep, it was good, then we will reimburse you the money. But given that Washington is in shambles right now, who knows when we'll get the reimbursement needed for the work done.
Right. Yeah.
I hate to say it, Gerard. I feel like at this point with that project, because right now they're asking for extension. So prior to being the mayor's deputy chief of staff, I was her director of federal affairs for 3 years, and I'm very hesitant to have confidence in that extension to 2028, only because of just the volatility of the current administration.
Wow. I'm more than likely going to have some more conversation about this. I know tomorrow's Friday. I got Suzette going to be with me on tomorrow. So we're going to have a lot of conversation on tomorrow about this too. But I'd love to have you back again I should have had you back immediately, because at some point in time, the people of New Orleans have got to get out in the streets. I saw some of the city workers at City Hall today protesting, but I haven't seen the real, I guess, temperature rise from the people about how and where their money went. And I think that's because of the lack of hearing about it, even in the media.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right.
Because I haven't heard anybody say that these well, maybe one news entity say that these emails are on social media. Have you?
Nope.
Well,
and people tag them in a lot of my postings, but I tell everyone when they tag them, they're not interested in that. That doesn't meet what they're trying to do.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna keep reading them. So I'm more than likely gonna see if you got some time next week to come back, probably Tuesday if you're available.
Absolutely.
Cool. Jabari, I thank you, man. I hate to cut it short, but I got another guest. I got Frank Janusa coming up at 5:00. He's got some ideas on how we can get some cash flow and everything going for the city. He's going to join us at 5. So let me get this one going. But see if you got some time Tuesday, and we'll try to put it together.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, my friend.
All right, take care.
Talk to you in a minute. I was wondering why I was taking so much Tylenol. Now y'all know why I can't sleep at night. So now you know I got so much Tylenol. I'm like, what you taking? Tylenol. What did Trump say? Acetaminophen. That's a bad example. All right, y'all. We'll take the break here. We got news and coming. No, don't try to. No. No.
You gotta keep going. We got a whole minute or something to go.
Oh, you gonna do that to me today? All right, okay. Remember you did that. Everybody heard you. Everybody heard you.
But now it's about to hit 59.
Go ahead.
It's about to hit 59.
Go ahead.
It's about to hit 59.
I don't even know why I play for him or play with him.
There's 59.
Well, I tell you what. I tell you off the air. All right, y'all. We'll get news in and we'll have a conversation. He is in the building. He's our guest, Mr. Frank Janusa, former candidate for mayor and a certified CPA. Yes, indeed. He'll be in here to join us and talk about this budget next. And we'll be taking some telephone calls. 504-582-9422 is the number. More coming up next.
From the campus of Xavier University, WBOK Go and Equity Media Station.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. A federal judge has extended the order blocking President Trump from sending National Guard troops to Illinois. Governor J.B. Pritzker and Black Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson have both opposed the move since it was announced. The ban will stay in place until a final court ruling, possibly by the Supreme Court. Senator Bernie Harris says former Vice President Kamala Harris lost the 2024 election because she did not focus enough on working-class voters. He told a podcast her campaign overlooked key issues affecting them. Harris later said her biggest challenge was not having enough time after Biden ended his re-election bid. And KeyTV's new series, Southern Fried Rice, is stirring debate over its story about an Asian American raised in a black family attending an HBCU. Executive producer Keke Palmer and creator Nakia Steffens defended the show, saying it celebrates culture and identity. It's streaming now on KeyTV's YouTube channel. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Welcome back. It is Thursday afternoon, and I sent him a message. I said, I need you to come in and have this conversation because I know that if no one else said it, you said it during your entire campaign that, number one, you know how to fix this budget, you knew what to do, and that you are qualified to do so because you are a certified CPA. So welcome back. I know that you have been here before, but on the campaign trail.
Yes.
Let's talk about your campaign for a minute here because you actually walked into a firestorm of budget problems.
I'm used to running against the gunfire, so to speak.
Okay.
Because sometimes you have to speak truth to power, and that was part of my platform.
Really?
Absolutely.
For those of you that don't know but you've seen him before, his name is Frank Janusa, candidate for mayor for the city of New Orleans. We didn't get all the way there, but it had to be an experience.
We came out fourth in a field of 12 on the ballot and
Really?
11 actually running. So I figure I'm in the top third. That
You-
was
you
quite
did
an
a good-
accomplishment.
you did a good job.
For a first-time only runner.
If I have to say anything about your campaign, I want to say this in a sense of who you are personally. I saw class.
Thank you.
I saw a man that knew how to handle himself with a crowd. You didn't buck anything. You actually stood on your own ground saying, this is what I'll do.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
So you're going to do it again?
I'll do it again.
All right.
I'm good till 6 o'clock.
So till 6 o'clock today. That's it. Oh man. Well, welcome back.
On this show, but I'm committed to the city. That's the important thing.
Yeah. Welcome back then.
Thank you, sir.
Let's talk about this budget. Tell me what you see.
Well, I see a number of things. I see an apocalypse coming in December when city employees may not get paid. And at the same time, sometimes the solution is right in front of you, but nobody can see it. And I think I found the solution.
You did?
Yes, sir. And you'll be the first to know about it officially.
All right, let me write this
So
down
this
on
is
the calendar.
this is a scoop. This is a scoop. I went to the 90-minute budget hearing yesterday, which consisted of the city council members talking, asking questions. Mr. Threat, Romy, can't ever pronounce the last name correctly, and other city officials responded, and they chatted for about 90 minutes. Then bang, meeting adjourned. I had a comment card, and I was waiting for the comment card to be.
You didn't even get a chance to speak.
Didn't even get a chance to speak, and I was sitting in the front row, and it was quite frustrating. And then immediately when the meeting was over, the different councilmen were doing their interviews, and they were doing it for 20 minutes. So my parking time was about to expire, so I had to exit. I don't want to get a boot on my car outside City Hall.
Wouldn't that be nice?
But they talked about very interesting things. They talked about attempting to get a $125 million line of credit or a revenue anticipation note or something of that magnitude, which is workable to an extent. And I heard on the afternoon news today, because I'm a news junkie.
Me too.
That they're going to have a meeting with the Bond Commission in Baton Rouge sometime next week. When next week, I don't know. And that may be an exercise in futility. But here's the simple thing. We all know that the city's budget is overbloated. I talked about that the entire campaign trail. And I attended over 61 different events since July 20. And we had a very small campaign committee. It was myself and 4 of my family members. But
I think I met your son.
Yes. He was the campaign manager. He would call me up at 5:15 in the morning and discuss our schedule for the day. Thank you, sir.
Can you wait till I get up?
I was up. That was the problem. He knew I'm an early riser. So during that entire campaign event, or those series of events, I literally talked to thousands of people. And sometimes I had to muscle my way into certain venues, which I was excluded from, which is a whole different story. Matter of fact, my son's wife is writing a book on this whole adventure that we all went on.
Oh, wow.
And it's going to be, I think, a bestseller. And it won't be fiction. It'll be fact. But anyway, going back to the numbers. I've been a CPA since 1972, 53 years. Matter of fact, at one of the recent venues back at Restaurant Capulet, it was my birthday, September 24th. They had about 200 people in the audience. The first thing I did was thank all of them for coming for my birthday that evening. Then we talked about the budget. Now, when I went to the meeting yesterday, and when I got to the meeting about 2:45, there were maybe 3 people in the audience, me and 2 or 3 others, max.
That's it?
That was it. And then within 10 minutes, the place was almost packed. But you could drop a pin. You'd hear the pin because there was absolute silence in that room. The usual people who appear at city council meetings weren't there. But anyway, the whole measure of the budget hearings was how to fix the budget. but not so much how to fix the budget, but how to find the cash to generate the money to pay for the expenses between now and the end of the year.
That's a problem.
Now, you're going to get the scoop on this, Mr. Stevens.
All right.
Interestingly, and I have to give you some foundation for this, I have in my hot little hands right here the 2024 financial statements for the city of New Orleans. 220 pages.
Mm-hmm.
220 pages. I haven't read all of it. It just came out September 10th.
Right.
The ones for 2023 came out in July of 2024. And I mentioned that at almost every forum that I was at. You can't do good fiscal planning.
Okay, all right. So I'm not by myself.
You've got to wait 6 months and 9 months for
But you're spending the money already.
You're spending the money. So here's the deal. Cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. I've often said the city is stuck on stupid. And the prize is sitting right in front of us and nobody sees it. Except I saw it because it just jumped right out at me. Every year, and this is the foundational principle, every year since well before Katrina, the city used to send out its real estate tax bills in late November, early December. They did that for years and years because people wanted to pay that real estate tax to get the real estate tax deduction for those people who itemized. Then as the years go by, they started sending the bills out in early December, mid-December. New Year's Eve night, they deliver the mail, poof, there's your real estate tax bill. You can't do anything with it.
Right.
And then, for whatever reasons, which I haven't described or known about, they started sending the bills out in January. And they're all, remember, the bills are due January 31st to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
So they're sending the bills out first week in January, second week of January. So they've got to extend the payment out to end of February, middle of March. They've done this for several years. Now, if the city is billing $304 million of real estate taxes, i.e. property taxes, why not send those bills out now if only 1 out of 3 people, or if only 1/3 of those bills get paid between now and the end of December? That's $100 million right there.
That's your cash flow.
Bingo. End of story. Not rocket science.
Can I do it?
Absolutely, you can do it.
Duh.
Can it be done?
Hey,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
absolutely.
The cash flow problem that they're having can be solved.
Can be solved. You don't have to go get $125 million.
So I got to ask you about that.
Float the bond.
Because when I heard that, I was like, oh boy, how we pay them back?
Well, you'd be paying them back from next year's collections.
So,
sales taxes, real estate taxes, fees, penalties, etc.
So don't we also have to pay impers?
Sure.
$140 million.
Well, they said that the interest rate might be about 6%. So you're talking
we in
$7
inflation.
million.
But we're
$7 million a year.
So we're in an inflation mode. So that's possible that interest rate could go up.
Well, I think interest rates have been on a slight downward trend for the last 6 months. So even at 6%, that's a bit high, a bit stretchy for a short-term loan.
But let me tell you why I said
days.
that. Yes. Because I'm looking at the city in a hold, and usually when there is a financial issue with the city, your rating goes down.
Yes.
Your rating goes down, your interest rate goes up.
That's correct.
So would the interest rate go up?
If the bond rating goes down,
it's going down.
There's no question. No question.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Our rating is going to go. I don't know if we're at B. I know we were at B+.
And Moody's, I think, dropped us down 1 notch.
Already?
This was maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
Okay. So we're going
if
to go
I can
down
trust the
more.
news. If I can trust the news.
Right. So what do you see, though? Are we in a position to fix this? Are they listening? Have you presented this to them?
Well,
I know you tried to.
I didn't have the opportunity yesterday, but I wanted to give you the first scoop on it today. So you got the prize today. But tomorrow morning, I'm going to email all 7 members of the city council and present this relatively simple idea.
So
get the people at the Department of Finance.
Before you go on, it has already been proven that they don't read emails.
That may be true.
And the reason we know that is because this was already emailed to them about what financial states we are in, and they didn't read it.
That's true. But I think if I put a sharp headline, city in bankruptcy, read this now, perhaps.
But maybe we can get a plane with a big old banner on the back of it and just fly it around City Hall over and over and over again and let them know. Frank Janusa has sent you an email. Please read.
Yes, a recovering candidate for mayor has made a suggestion, which is right in front of your faces.
Well, have we ever been in this position before?
I'm sure we have, but few people ever paid attention to it.
I don't remember us being in this.
When
I think the only time that I saw in my time here was when there was a possibility that we were going to go bankrupt because of Katrina, trying to keep the city.
And that's part of it. When Ray Nagin left office, he handed, for want of a better word, Mitch Landrieu $100 million deficit, which was ultimately cleaned up and made positive to a surplus over time. But it took a while.
But now I'm hearing people like Clancy Dubose saying that there's possible that there is a sabotage issue. And I'm going like, no. Well, I don't think that we'll be in a sabotage issue with this administration trying to sabotage the administration coming in. Why? We all got to live here.
That's true. And that's why I suggested many times on the campaign trail that had they elected the first Republican mayor since 1872, I could have extracted some money from Jeff Landry and the Trump administration.
Probably so.
Probably so.
So now,
I mean, I did get the endorsement of the LA GOP.
You did?
It was a phenomenal endorsement. It
Right.
also came with $0.
But I also thought that they didn't give you no money.
Not a dime. Not a dime, sir.
Really?
Not a dime.
I thought that they always gave their candidates some money or gave them some in-kind favors like commercials or nothing.
Got the endorsement of the Orleans Parish Republican Executive Committee, which is the official
Right.
Republican Party in Orleans Parish. Fabulous endorsement.
No money?
No dollars. One of the Republican Women's Clubs gave me an endorsement, a fabulous endorsement. Got a nice motif to show on the platform. I did get a free fish meal. It was redfish. It was wonderful. That's the perks of running for public office.
Oh, Lord. You want to take some telephone calls?
Sure, absolutely.
Folks call in 504-582-9422. Reverend Wallace?
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. Gerod. I want to thank you for being so a Clancy Dubois investigative. I think Clancy was wrong on that. Who could sabotage the city? Come on, that's BS. Mr. Januso, I met you at the union thing, picnic.
Yes,
I want to
Labor
commend you,
Day.
man. You ran a good race. You
Thank you,
are
sir.
a first-class individual. And Gerard, this is a man that has knowledge about everything. He is a very astute person. And what I love about you, man, you didn't allow yourself just to be a Republican. You went everywhere. If you was invited, didn't care where it was at, if it was the African-American community or whatever, you went and you showed yourself and you state your case and you sought after vote from everybody. And that's what I like about you. And I think you should hang around the city. I think there's something good going to come out of this for you. I think you're a very fresh voice in the city to reach across the aisle to show people that, hey, it could be fairness from both sides, Democrat and Republican. And I commend you for that. I know you're well respected in your professional field, and it was a good pleasure to meet you. And I was shocked when I seen how you just sort of put yourself in a position to be a contender in this race. And man, it took enormous amount of work. There's no such thing as a Republican or Democrat. It's who you know.
Well, unfortunately,
you know.
that's how a lot of our races are run. It's always been a popularity contest. And I wanted to make it different. I wanted to make it basically based on a platform of inclusive prosperity, i.e. for everyone, and also to show the voters that those who are running for the most important office in the city of New Orleans needs to exercise servant leadership. And that's what I've done all my adult life. And that was part of my platform just as much as any of the particular issues were. Because
and I believe that you would have a rainbow type coalition of people put in position, black, white, whatever. You would have made the city know that you're about helping people not just a position.
No
the mayor is
question
just a title. But I think you would have worked from an perspective of helping people, even the least among us. So I commend you for that. Gerard, thank you for having this man on the radio.
Thank you very much.
Still
I
waiting on my
appreciate
pork
those
chops.
good words.
Tell him to get my
Mean a
pork
lot to
chops
me.
if he can.
I'm gonna give you some pork chops for that one. Here.
All right.
No.
All right.
All right.
God bless.
He wants me to give him some pork chops. So he's been telling me that for years now. So I told him I'd do so. Mr. Januso, what I do
Please
want to
call
look
me
at,
Frank.
I'm
I'm frank with everybody.
Yeah, but when you think about this situation, how do we not, after it's cleaned up, how do we not get back into it again?
Well, even this idea of advancing the real estate tax bills into November, December 2025 is only a stopgap measure.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, basically for years, the city has been overspending its revenue. It just has done that consistently for years. And, we've got two sets of accounts that we have to consider. We've got the general fund revenues and we've got the capital fund revenues.
Right.
And we concern ourselves more with the general fund revenues because that's the part where we collect taxes from individuals and businesses and fines and penalties. But it's also the same font of dollars that we distribute, out to different organizations, expenses, and NOPD, NOFD, and EMS, and God knows what else.
Right.
Every imaginable expense under the sun. So we've got to look at those expenses. We've got to first become effective, then we have to become efficient. The two have to go together. You can be wonderfully effective but terribly inefficient, and vice versa. We've got to match those two. It's insane. It's three times what it was 20 years ago.
And it has not been it has no growth factor.
That's true.
So we are not a major market city. And I don't know why we are acting. I noticed that, we are paying certain department heads like we are operating a major market city. And if you do some of those salary comparisons, I know this is not everything here, but if you look at some of those salaries, they're major market salaries.
They are indeed.
But they're not fixing or trying to make the department that they head better. Have you seen an increase or something to go? I love sewage and water board now.
I've seen increases in the
Your water
salaries
bill?
of the management at sewage and water board,
Police
and
chief,
police chief, fire chief, you name it.
Airport.
Oh, at the airport, yes.
So I'm looking at all these department heads and saying to myself, you're getting a major market salary on a medium market type of infrastructure. I've never seen this amount of money go to sewage and water board heads on a 100-year-old facility that every time it rains,
Oops,
I know
five pumps are down. 5 pumps are down.
Well,
Oops, sorry, 6 pumps are down.
And look, and the answer has been, well, what are you going to do about it? Tell everybody to move their car to the neutral ground.
Yeah, go to neutral ground. And then we'll float a bond issue in November.
That's it. But we haven't fixed anything. We fixed what? We fixed the Napoleon Street and St. Charles Street. But I'm looking at some of the infrastructure and saying, what about the rest of it? With the amount of money that comes in, and you can tell me this because you would have to work these numbers. You would be my finance guy. I'm just telling you. So
the two of my competitors in the race suggested that if they become mayor, that they would hire me.
I remember it was also in your television commercial too.
Yes, that was a very astute inclusion by my campaign manager.
We got to take the break. Okay, all right, we'll take the break here. We'll come back. More in just a minute, y'all. Everybody hold tight.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat. One of the most lasting images of former NBA superstar Shaquille O'Neal's playing days is him tearing down basketball rims while dunking like they were made of paper. But today, Shaq wants to build, and he's got a new partnership to do it with.
There's a tremendous need in the U.S. for better infrastructure. You see it in your roads, you see it in your airports, your train stations, and I want to help make that change. And, Jack Mel is the partner that can help me do that.
That's Shaq speaking to Bloomberg about why he joined forces with Jack Mel Infrastructure. That's an investment firm that focuses on big construction and utility projects across the country. Shaq joined the company as a founding partner and says he's looking forward to winning big in the infrastructure space.
Every time I win a championship, it's because I have great teammates. One with Kobe, I'm winning in the broadcast with Charles Barkley. So I want to also win a championship in the infrastructure space.
I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
With Fidelity Wealth Management, a dedicated advisor gets to know you and your goals to build a comprehensive plan to help grow and protect your wealth. Backed by a team of specialists, they'll analyze all your accounts, even the ones they don't manage, to keep an eye on taxes and provide proactive portfolio insights that can help you unlock your wealth's full potential. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC. Member NYSE SIPC.
At Skechers, comfort is a technology. That's right. You don't just make a shoe and hope it comes out comfortable. It takes research, innovations, compounds, engineering, and so much more to feel so comfortable you'd swear you're wearing pillows on your feet. We have features like Skechers Air-Cooled Memory Foam and fits like Relax Fit, Stretch Fit, Wide Fit, Arch Fit, and so many more to make the shoe feel like it was custom-made just for your foot. Plus, we have hands-free Skechers Slip-ins technology. Just step it and go. Find yours at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever comfortable footwear is sold.
2517 Bayou Road is the place to be. Nando's Kids Cuisine and Pastries.
Sunday nights just got hotter. DJ Wicked's live and Nando's Cajun Cuisine for the throwback. Throw down! October 26th from 7 to 10. Old school hip hop and R&B. Good vibes and WBOK in the building. Don't miss it!
Tired of the impersonal, one-size-fit-all style of banking? You deserve a bank that delivers exceptional service and personalized attention to your needs. That's the Home Bank Standard. Since 1908, Home Bank has been a trusted financial partner for businesses and families because we go the extra mile to help you reach your goals. See for yourself why Home Bank is good for business, good for life. Stop by any New Orleans area location or find out more at home24bank.com. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Are you passionate about community safety and police accountability? Tune in to The Monitor's Mic, where we talk about oversight, policing, and you. Hosted by the Office of Independent Police Monitor, we're here to shine a light on policing issues that matter, from real-time policing updates to in-depth interviews. Get the facts and stay informed. We're breaking down complex issues, highlighting community voices, and holding people behind the badge accountable. Join us for an informative hour every Friday at noon on WBOK. Your city, your police, your show. The Monitor's Mic.
Making a difference in the community. WBOK 1230 AM.
Here we go!
The Reality Check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. Well, welcome back. Thursday afternoon. In the building, having some conversation, and I see that you're a very popular man, sir. All the lines lit up. Frank Janusa is in the building having some conversation with you and Miss Tamika. You're on line one.
Oh, they must have heard I have a face for radio. That's why.
Miss Tamika?
Yes, hi, good evening. Hi, Mr. Gerod. Hi, Mr. Januso. How you doing today?
Janusa, Miss Tamika. I have my last name ends in USA. Very important.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's why I corrected it. Janusa.
Pleased to meet you.
Okay. Did I say it correct this time?
Yeah, you got it. What you got?
I got it. Okay. No, I listened to the last caller, and when Mr. Gerard mentioned that he was going to have you on, I think that was yesterday. He mentioned it. I thought that was pretty cool, and I wanted to do like the last caller did and commend you. I truly appreciate it myself when you came up for the conversation with the other candidates. It was one of the reasons why I kind of leaned towards the way I did on the person that I chose, because I was a little, I guess, appalled, or I felt a certain way that Miss Helena Moreno didn't come up to the station. And I know there's other platforms she's gone and she had spoken at churches or whatnot. But I just thought that it was very important that you guys did come up to the radio station the morning that you spoke, and
Absolutely.
I enjoyed everything that you said. I love the fact, like you said, you just give me one term, let me see what I can do, X, Y, and Z. Because I think at the end of the day, the people of New Orleans, we love our city. Whether you've grown here, you were birthed here, whether you just moved here the recent years, we love this city. It's such a huge melting pot, and I know where other cities and states, they have division, races. Not saying that we don't have any type of conflict, but what I've seen growing up, it's mostly love, between different races, and we all speak the same language. The accent, if you're talking on the phone with somebody, you don't know what race they are, because we all have that certain accent.
We all sound like New Orleans.
We all sound alike, exactly. And so I wanted to call, myself and thank you for coming up, because you had such wonderful ideas. I know, just like anybody else, you want to move the city forward,
yes,
in a positive way. So like the last caller and like Mr. Gerard said, I hope you don't disappear, which I'm sure you're not.
I'm not
But
disappearing.
and I hope that there's other avenues that you can go about to help the city, so we can see the change that we want, because not everybody is looking for a handout. I'm a Democrat, but there are some things that I am conservative about, so is my family. And, and I respect any party that wants to see people do better, live better and not struggle and have different opportunities. So I just wanted to call and say thank you. That was basically one of the reasons for my call.
I appreciate that very much, Miss Tamika. It means a lot to me to have people of all different backgrounds, black, white, yellow, and brown, meeting me on the street, shaking my hand, hugging me, giving me a kiss, saying, thank you for running. People I've never met in my life.
I'm not trying to kiss you.
Well, it's okay. it was a feeling which was just overwhelming at times. It really was.
Yeah.
And I felt so beloved by the people of the city.
Ms. Tamika, thank you, my dear. I appreciate the call.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Have a good evening, guys.
All right, you too. Don. Don?
Yes, sir.
What you say?
Hey, good evening.
How you doing?
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to commend Mr. Janusa for coming on. Just like Tamika said, I pretty much want to echo all that she talked about. One of the questions that I had was based on some of the numbers that we heard early on, Gerard, with your guest that you had on earlier. He mentioned something about the city only getting a little bit less than $4 million after the concert with
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I wanted to ask Mr. Janusa is there any way? And I know usually our state legislatures from this area are the ones that try to go to bat for us there in Baton Rouge.
Yes.
But I wanted to find out if he knew of any way that we could be cut in on a lot more than what comes into the city. I know after the Super Bowl, they were talking about over $1 billion, was generated throughout the city. But from what I understand, we got less than $20 million of it. So I wanted to find out, if there's any way that we could, talk with Baton Rouge and see about trying to get, a bigger cut of the pie. And I'll hang up and listen. Thanks again.
That's a good question, though, Don. Thank you, buddy.
And the short answer, Don, is that because of different legislative changes that have taken place in the last 12 months or so, certain revenue streams that used to come to the city of New Orleans no longer come. And that's the result of changes in the sales tax law and changes in other provisions. So I think perhaps the best thing we can hope for is for Taylor Swift and Mr. Kelsey to get married in the Superdome next year. We'll probably have a $10 billion event. Right. So I'm going to work on that in my spare time.
So let's do this. Let me ask this, because here's what I was thinking. first of all, we need to go to your legislators who represent the city. Also, whoever's caucusing needs to go to the state and say, we need to change that hotel motel tax.
Yes.
Because we only get $1.25 from that hotel motel tax. The other part, how can we, because when you start looking at gasoline, any type of flammable that's going in your car, whatever, can we get the taxes? Because I think every gallon of gas we pay the state somewhere between 16, 17 cents per gallon.
The state has a tax on gasoline per gallon.
How can we get some of that?
Well, the city does not.
Right.
Of course, to try to tell the voters of New Orleans, oh, by the way, your $3.40 gallon of gas, we're going to add another 10 cents on top of it for city taxes at 3%. They'll freak out.
But does it have to be 10? Can it be a couple of cents? I'm not trying to rape anybody.
Yeah.
But you're going to buy gas and it fluctuates.
Yeah.
But I think
even
that
even at 3 cents, it's a 1% tax.
Right.
Which is, you can swallow that pretty well.
Yeah. I don't think that will rape anybody to the point where we see everybody having to ride RTA. I'm not nothing.
I mean, it's not going to drive them to buying electric vehicles either.
Right. So I'm looking at it and saying to myself, we need to be innovative, just like you said, and trying to figure out without taxing everybody to the point where we're going to say, I got to choose between my medicine, if I can pay my rent, if I can pay my mortgage, or if my kids can go to school. Because we're getting ready to, I think, fall on some hard times.
I don't think there's any question about that. But I think there's an additional solution to this, which will produce perhaps $200 million a year for the foreseeable future. And I mentioned that in my platform. If you go to a city like Paris, which I've never been to because I don't have a passport, don't like to travel internationally, don't like to fly over large bodies of water.
Yeah.
When you go to Paris, you can buy a travel pass or a travel app on your phone. It costs over there like $80, $90 in our money. When you go to Paris, you use that travel app. It gives you either discounts in terms of 20% off your meals or $20 off a meal, or off a riverboat cruise or a museum entrance fee or a sporting event or anything imaginable in Paris. I proposed a travel app for the city of New Orleans.
Because everybody loves coming here.
19 million people come here a year.
Right. $10 billion goes toward
$9.6 billion.
Right.
Thank you, New Orleans and Company.
Right.
Now, as I pointed out, if only 1 in 10 of those visitors spent $100 for the travel pass, knowing that the travel pass is going to save them $1,000, $1,200 on the time frame that they're going to be in the city, that's 2 million people spending $100. That's $200 million a year.
Right.
This year and next year and the year after.
From people coming to the city,
the
not
city.
the people that live here.
That way, the onus of taxation doesn't fall so heavily on the individuals who live in the city, who are paying sales taxes or sewage and water board fees or real estate taxes.
So how do you become the lieutenant governor and your real job is to make sure that folks that are coming here and using all this money, and even I think there needs to be some type of talking to the government officials about what goes to the Memorial Convention Center?
Well, I think more importantly is to make certain that it's the city of New Orleans that generates that income, not the state.
Which is happening. I mean, because you think about something for a minute. I don't mean any disrespect to anybody, but, when people come to Louisiana, I don't know too many folks that are saying, I think we're going to take the whole family down to LaPlace.
A great idea. But it's not number one on their list.
Let's go to let's go to St. Bernard Parish.
Is there a museum in West Wego we can go to?
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, so everybody wants to come here.
Yes.
Because the ambiance, the culture of this city, the history, and we're not taking advantage of it because of legislation, because of rules, because of things that were set up. And hell, I mean, we just found out, maybe 3, 4, or 5 years ago, that all the money that was coming across the river from that toll was going to Lake Charles.
Yes.
and we had $100 million of flood insurance on the bridge. Come on.
Yes.
How many times can we be taken advantage of?
The city is stuck on. It's stupid.
But I'm like you. I am just like you in this. At least kiss me first.
Yes.
You know the saying then. Pop Jones.
Hey, G-Man.
How you doing, sir?
I just woke up. I wonder, am I dreaming? Who would you guess?
His guest is Frank Robert Janusa, a CPA, not a politician. Yes, sir. A recovering candidate for mayor of the city of New Orleans. At your service, sir.
Well, what you got, Pop?
Who would you guess?
He just told you.
Who?
Mr. Janusa.
I ran for mayor.
Ran for mayor?
I ran for mayor on October 11th.
And this is the mayor elect?
No, sir.
No,
sir.
No.
So you got a question though? What you got?
Yeah, I know that couldn't have been a mayor elect.
Okay, so what's your question?
I know I would have been shocked to my booth.
What?
If she would have came on.
He'd have been shocked to his boots if she would have come on.
I don't know. I could take up the whole program.
Okay. All right. So I got to move on now. So if you don't have a question, I need to take some other calls.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna hang up and listen to what was it? Who would you guess?
This is Mr. Frank Janusa.
Who?
You remember me? I was the only candidate whose last name ends in USA. I was number 22 on the ballot.
Oh, you're number 22 on the ballot?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
All right, Mr.
Well,
Pop
I'll just hang
Jones.
up.
All right. So look, let me finish up the conversation then. All right.
All right.
Okay then. All right. So I think he really did just wake up. Mm-hmm. So you have a specialty that is not arithmetic. I mean, just, this is not Chinese arithmetic.
Right.
So why is it so difficult for us to get to where we need to get if you know what to do and we're paying these folks hundreds of millions of dollars to be the responsible person for my money, your money, and everybody else's money. And this seems like a big cluster, throughout the entire world. I got folks calling me from other parts of the country saying, y'all got a what deficit? Because we're not only going to be in a situation with this deficit with our city budget, but think about what's happening with the state. The state is getting ready to lose all of its money for SNAP benefits.
Yep.
And all the folks that we see, those folks that aren't and don't have to go through any of that, good for you. But do we realize that we are one of those states that's at the top of the list that depend upon the federal government for some type of benefit for our kids to eat? I don't even think we realize that. So November 1st, we're in trouble again.
I heard on the news this afternoon that some 40 million people in the United States, that's what, 11, 12% of the population, rely on SNAP benefits on a monthly basis, which, number one, is way too high.
Everything seems to be a little bit high here. Now, here's another question for you. I'm going to call her and see if she can do the show tomorrow. But Andronika Morris, who is the head of Housing First,
yes,
put an initiative for people to vote on it where 2% of the budget goes toward housing. Fund.
Right.
How are we going to do that one when we're in debt?
It's going to be a tough call.
Oh, man.
There are only so many dollars to deal with. So something has to be, some expenditure, some program has to be reduced or eliminated substantially in order for the rest of the dollars to flow through to for instance, to the housing fund. And one of the pet peeves I've had is that each of the 5 district council persons, plus the 2 at large, each has a better word, a slush fund of $1 million to give away every year.
Right.
And it's designed to go primarily to
People that already have it.
501c3s, public charities, etc. And I did a quick analysis, this was 6 months ago, that not all of them are 501c3s. Those that are having to file their 990s on a yearly basis.
Oops.
And or do not file their required Louisiana Secretary of State annual report every year.
Oops.
So why should those get a dime? I understand, the distribution of monies to important items, but is it for that purpose, or is it simply to garner votes and keep the votes going for the next 4 years?
So with that being said, then why did we have an audit? Is the audit finished, or are we just trying to find out where the money went?
Well,
because that's from the state legislative auditor.
Well, actually have it right here. This is the budget analysis that was done by Mike Wagasback.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, a CPA,
Right.
which I've mentioned several times on the campaign trail, because it takes a CPA to figure this stuff out. This is not an audit. This is merely a report based on the review, if you will, of the receipts and disbursements inside the various city funds from January 1 to September 30th, and then ultimately an estimate of what will take place through the end of the year. And they've identified a $160 million deficit looming. That's like what, 12, 13 million bucks a year, a month that we're overspending.
Right. This didn't start. So the question is, when did it start? Because I heard Romy actually make up when she did her report. She said, last December, we were already overspending in December. So my question is, how many other months have we been overspending prior to December? Did this go on the year before that, last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Have we known we've been headed in this hole?
Oddly enough, from what I visualized from the financial statements, and until literally 3 days ago, all I had were the 2023 financial statements to even look at. 2023 and 2022 and 2021. And basically for those 3 prior years, the city was overspending, but not by a tremendous amount of money. Okay, it was relatively minor. And believe me, the report is 220 pages long, the 2024's report. Now, I will tell you this, the first 40 pages is a summary of the Cantrell administration filled with puffery about the wonderful things they did during the 12 months ended in December 2024. So there's 180 pages of sheer financial data. And frankly, I've been a CPA since Groundhog Day 1973, February 2nd. It just sticks in my mind. I've got to mention that. And when I look at that report, and I've seen financial reports for some of the largest companies in the world and for some of the smallest.
Right.
A lot of what I read there, even to me, is almost incomprehensible. And that to me is a stunning indictment of what's inside that report. When you look inside that report and you look at the fact that the fireman's pension fund is only funded at a 17% rate, and the NOPD's pension is funded at maybe 48, 49%. We've got a looming, unforeseen debt in the hundreds of millions of dollars into the future.
It's not going away.
It's not going away. And we've got to prepare for it. Meanwhile, the city has investments in mutual funds and U.S. government bonds and hedge funds and God knows what else. And that stuff probably needs to be monitored much more closely, particularly in the world of AI.
I would even say, and I want your comment on this, because one of the biggest things, and I know you got to take the break, but I got to ask them this question. What I have seen that the city owns in real estate makes me say over and over and over again that we need to be able to say that the biggest slumlord that we have in New Orleans is New Orleans.
One of the other candidates mentioned was likely about 80 different properties. I went to one of the biggest ones, which is the old naval station on Poland Avenue, corner of Charters and Dauphine, a little spot right there, 2,200,000 square feet. The bones of that structure is just perfect. It withstood Katrina like nobody's business. All it needs to be done is to renovate the interiors of this, perfect for assisted living,
Right.
elderly housing,
Right. Just housing.
market rate housing.
In itself. Got to take another break here. Got about 10, 15 more minutes, and then we're going to wrap up here. But I want to invite you back before you even think about
absolutely,
it. So don't go anywhere. More coming up, y'all.
I like this place.
Yeah, this is a good.
AURN News.
I'm Ebony McMorris. As the government shutdown drags on, millions of Americans could lose their lifeline to food. States from Texas to New York and California are warning that if Congress doesn't act by the end of this month, families relying on SNAP, the nation's largest food assistance program, may not get their November benefits at all. SNAP, once known as food stamps, serves more than 42 million people. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins says the shutdown could leave millions of hungry families without access to food. Meanwhile, the national debt just hit $38 trillion, rising nearly $70,000 every second. Experts warn that higher debt means higher prices, higher interest rates, and fewer resources for programs like SNAP. If the shutdown continues past October 27th, the hunger crisis will grow, not because the food is gone, but because the funding is frozen. For AURN News, I'm Ebony McMorris.
It's Off the Top with Norman Robinson on WBOK 1230 AM.
It is certain in any case that ignorance, allied with power, is the most ferocious enemy justice can have. Phenomenal advocate and author James Baldwin wrote those words in his essay, No Name in the Street, in 1972. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where America is today. Ignorance, allied with power, made even worse by indifference. Baldwin wrote this about indifference. He said, quote, "Neither love nor terror makes one blind. Indifference makes one blind." Baldwin is talking about our blindness to the humanity in our fellow man. You know, I thought a lot about Baldwin as I reflected upon the hateful and hurtful words spoken by several members of the Young Republican organization uncovered in an investigation by Political News. Words that dehumanize, words that vilify, hateful language against minorities, including jokes about slavery, disparaging homophobic language, and anti-Semitic diatribes. One message even expressed a love for Hitler. The vitriolic language has resulted in widespread condemnation and the firing of several Young Republican organization officials and the subsequent disbandment of several chapters of the organization. However, and this is a big however, there was no condemnation to be found at the highest level of the Republican Party. Vice President J.D. Vance even attempted to downplay the incident as, just kids making jokes. Those kids he's referring to were ages 25 to 35. This is the ignorance allied with power of which James Baldwin wrote about, and the indifference which renders one blind to human decency and respect for others. Perhaps it was indifference or ignorance or both that led President Trump to nominate far-right lawyer Paul Ingrassia to lead the office of special counsel. Ironically, Political News also uncovered racist text messages attributed to Mr. Ingrassia. One of them saying, quote, "The holiday honoring the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. should be tossed into the seventh circle of hell," end quote. Ingrassia withdrew his nomination after at least 4 Republican senators, including the majority leader, said they would oppose him. The White House has been quiet about it so far. But it surprises me that so little attention has been drawn to these dangerous, divisive voices of inhumanity. In this crisis of hateful dysfunction, we need someone like James Baldwin to revive the soul of America. Baldwin was right then, he is right today. It is up to us to call out such evil. Black leaders, are you listening? This is Norman Robinson off the top.
Wake up your taste buds at Inner City Brews and Bistro, home of the one-of-a-kind peach cobbler pancakes. Start your day with our soulful breakfast favorites. Then come back for bold cocktails and those oh-so-good Creole flavors that always hit just right. In the heart of Treme, every bite feels like home. Doors open at 8:30 a.m. and find us at 1401 St. Bernard Avenue. Inner City Brews and Bistros, uniquely New Orleans, deliciously unforgettable.
Hi, this is Arnie Filko. Let's elevate every Tuesday through Thursday from 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. as we discuss the community, the country, and the world, from politics to current events to sports. We look forward to your input and continuing the quality programming on your community station, WBOK. Join Carrie and I every Tuesday through Thursday, 6 to 7 o'clock p.m. on Elevated Conversations, the Arnie and Carrie Show. See you soon.
You've got responsibilities, but that doesn't mean your dreams are on hold. At Southern University at New Orleans, our evening and weekend college is designed with your life in mind. Finish your degree, start a new one, on your time, your degree, your schedule, no excuses, just opportunity. Visit suno.edu and make your next move today.
Meet Leanna, a part-time chef and full-time mom. In the past, Leanna didn't have health insurance because she didn't think she could afford it. What she didn't realize is she qualified for Medicaid. She loves the coverage and peace of mind that comes with high-quality care. The kind of care you get with Healthy Blue. This is Medicaid, and it's for more people than you think. Maybe even you. To see if you qualify, go to myhealthybluela.com.
From the East Bank to the West Bank, WBOK is what New Orleans is talking about. WBOK.
Here we go. The reality check on WBOK 1230 AM.
All right, folks, welcome back. A few more minutes here before we have to get out and call it a day today. My guest, who's in the building having some conversation with us, former candidate for the mayor of New Orleans and CPA extraordinaire, of course, Mr. Frank Janusa is here. We have, and I think I said this twice, hard way to go.
Yes.
How do we prepare for that? If we looking around and saying, I don't know when I'm going to have to pay for garbage, because they're saying we're going from $24 to $36.
Nothing like a 50% increase overnight. Yes. And the same thing for businesses. It'll be another 50% for them, too.
And is that written in stone? Is that the way we're headed?
Well, that's part of Mayor Cantrell's proposed 2026 budget, where she wants to attempt to get an additional $74 million of revenue from taxes, fees, and penalties, which is going to be a hard sell.
Mm-hmm. But your recommendation is start looking, and maybe you just need to ask somebody that know numbers.
Yes.
Nobody asked you?
Not a soul.
Are you surprised?
In a sense, yes, but on balance, no.
So how about if they do call you and say, we heard you today, would you come in and sit down and talk with us?
I will absolutely do that. Matter of fact, I plan on contacting the city council tomorrow morning with a very right-in-your-face idea that just will jump out at you and solve at least the cash flow problem. It won't solve the budget problem,
right?
But it will solve the cash flow problem and get out city employees who are deserving of their paychecks on a timely basis and in the right amount.
And they were out protesting this morning.
And they were out protesting yesterday when I left the city council meeting, right in front of City Hall.
So I got to ask you this. I think you did tell me, but you went to that meeting. You went to the city council meeting.
Yes, I did.
And they did not say, Mr. Janusa, come up to the dais.
No, I put a comment card in like, one does at any regular city council meeting, but their agenda simply said council people speaking and then guests speaking and then adjournment. That was it.
So you're sitting there and they did not recognize you?
Well, actually.
Not even a hello?
No, I got a hello from Oliver Thomas,
okay,
who was on the left-hand side of the dais. And I believe Helena actually smiled at me and waved her hand. I couldn't quite tell it was me or somebody else behind me, but I know Oliver saw me because he did his famous thumbs up.
You'll come back?
Absolutely.
And look, don't let that Republican, Democrat, all that other stuff. That don't bother me.
G-man, I don't believe in labels.
That part don't mean you human and you a New Orleanian. That's all I care about.
Born here, raised here. Damn it, I'm still here. You can't get rid of me.
I'm glad you're here.
And nothing's going to get rid of me except the Lord himself.
There you go. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It has been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
And don't be surprised when I pick up the phone and say, hey, what you doing this week?
You got my number.
I got you.
You got my number.
Thank you again. All right,
Thank you
folks,
very much.
coming up, the sports report is coming up in just a minute. We will be out of here, and you can be able to hear something about the sports. So other than that, I will see y'all on tomorrow with the attorney, Suzette McNair. So y'all have a great rest of the day.